Our lesson for today is all about normal probability distribution. Let's have first our objectives. Define and illustrate a normal random variable distribution and its characteristics. Identify the properties of a normal distribution. Construct a normal curve. Solve for the areas of a normal distribution. So we are going to get the areas of a region in the normal distribution. Fifth, finding the x-scores of a normal distributions. Also, we are going to find the mean and the standard deviation of a normal distribution. So, normal distribution is part of a probability distribution. So, we already done with the discrete probability distribution. Now, we are going to do the continuous probability distribution. So, we are using normal distribution kasi nga, we're dealing about continuous probability distribution. Normal distribution is also known as Gaussian distribution. Okay po, that describes the data that clusters around the mean. Okay po. So, dinedefine niya yung data given na nandoon si mean as a center of the distribution. Okay, the graph of this associated probability density function. Okay, let me erase. Then probability density function is a bell shape. If we are going to draw a normal distribution, okay, let me do it again. Okay, again. Okay, again. Okay, let us see again. Okay, so this is an example of a normal distribution. So our center here, class, is the mean. Okay, usually we use this symbol for the mean, but here in normal distribution, we are going to use this. This is a Greek letter or symbol, as you know. This is called mu. Okay po. So it is a bell shape with a peak at the mean. So, sa pinakamataas or yung pinakatuktok ng distribution, that is the mean. And it is known as the Gaussian function or bell curve. Okay? Bakit tinatawag na bell curve? Kasi nga, para siyang, or it looks like a bell. Okay po? So, that is a Gaussian function or Gaussian distribution. Next, a normal curve was developed mathematically in 1733 by Abraham de Moivre. Okay, we pronounce this as Moivre. De Moivre, okay, in 1667 to 1754 as an approximation to the binomial distribution. So, si normal distribution has an influence of binomial distribution, no? From binomial distribution, we all know it has only two outcome. Kaya nga from the word bi, meaning it could be pass or failed, it could be success or failure. Ibig sabihin, kung si normal distribution is influenced by binomial distribution, so may idea tayo that the normal distribution is symmetrical because the center is our mean or the center is the mean. Okay, sa latter part ng discussion natin, mas makikilala pa natin si normal distribution. Okay, the fourth bullet, Carl Friedrich Gauss, 1777 to 1855, used a normal curve to analyze the astronomical data in 1809. The normal curve is often called the Gaussian distribution. Okay po. So maraming tawag, marami siyang synonym or other names. Okay po. So, yung fourth bullet natin is just an additional information kung saan ginamit si normal curve o si normal distribution. Okay? Next, how do we create a normal distribution? Okay, before we create, first, let us know how can we say that the data is normally distributed. So, let's have first this first histogram. Okay? Okay, let me write one. Let us say that this one is the scores of a student is in a certain exam, and this is just the frequency or number of students. Okay. Based on this histogram, sabi dyan, on the interpretation part, it can be spread out more on the left. Yes, it is correct. No, look at on the left part of the histogram or on this distribution. Kung nakikita nyo dyan, there are 5 students, maybe 5 to 10 students, or 5 to 8 students who got 40, 60, and 80, and some of them got 90. But as you can see here, class, what is the highest score? The highest score is 140, but marami nakakuha sa kanila ng 120 na scores. So maybe there are 25 students who got 120. So meaning the test is easy, right? Kasi kapag ang exam or ang quiz nyo, for example, marami sa inyo nakakakuha ng mataas na score, dalawang side lang naman yan, class. It's either madali ang exam o talagang nag-aral kayo. Or nag-aral tayo, ako for example, as a student. Okay? So, that's the first histogram. That's next. In terms of scores pa rin tayo, class, tsaka sa number of students. Okay, sabi dyan, it can be spread out more on the right. So, dito naman, nag-spread out, nagkalat sila. Kasi marami na kukonte or paiba-iba eh. May mga nakakuha ng 40, may nakakuha ng 60. Ibig sabihin, class, kukonti lang. Or kung makikita nyo, yung bumababa. Konti lang yung nakakuha ng 50, konti lang din yung nakakuha ng 60, may nakakuha ng 10, pero mas marami nakakuha ng nasa 20, ang range na let's say sabihin natin 15 to 25, marami nakakuha. Okay, so meaning, ang scores ng nakuha nila ay mababa, let's say 20 to 25. So, ang dami, halos 50 na students. So, meaning, mahirap yung exam or hindi talaga sila nag-aral. Okay, let's have the last one. Kung nakikita nyo dyan, up and down, may nakakuha ng 0, or let's say may nakakuha ng 5, tapos may nakakuha rin ng, paiba-iba siya, up and down, jumbled. Okay? So, do you think these histograms are normally distributed? Okay, no? So, kung nakikita nyo, they are not normally distributed. Kasi may naka-spread out sa left, may naka-spread out sa right, tas may up and down naman. Okay, in terms of the data sa histogram. Okay, so we can say, the data can be distributed, spread out in different ways. Okay, pwedeng nag-spread out sila sa left, nag-spread out sa right, or nag-jumble up. Okay, but there are many cases where the data tends to be around a central value with no biases from the left or right. Kung nakakita nyo dito, class, no, may bias. May ito mabababa, tas may matataas, may dito naman sa pangalawa, may dito yung mataas, dito yung mababa naman. Dito, hindi mo naman alam kung saang part dito, kung eto, may tataas, biglang may bababa, may tataas, may biglang may bababa. Okay? Unlike kapag eto, class, this is closely to a normal distribution. You know why? Kasi isa lang yung center niya. And this is the center. Then the rest, symmetrical sila, class. Okay? Symmetrical. Meaning, nahati sila into two equal part. Okay po. So, these are the example of the things that closely follow a normal distribution. And the blue line or this curve is a bell curve. Okay, but sabi ko kasi earlier, it looks like a bell. So, let's talk about paano ba natin masasabi na whether our distribution is normally distributed. Bukod sa ganito, dapat ang itsura niya. Okay? First, the mean, the median, and the mode are equal. Yung value ni mean at ni median at ni mode are all the same and are located at the center of the distribution. And we all know that this is the center of the distribution. Meaning, nandyan si mean, nandyan si mean, nandyan si median, at nandyan si mode. Okay po? Next, the normal curve is bell-shaped and symmetric about the mean. Okay nga, dahil ang center natin, ang data natin ay may center, meaning symmetrical yung dalawang side. Okay? Next, symmetrical sila in terms of mean kasi dun sila nagbe-base class. Normal distribution is unimodal. Dahil isa nga lang, dahil ang mode natin is yung pinakamataas na, ay yung center, meaning, siya yung most frequent. Kaya yung type ng mode niya is unimodal. Next, normal distribution is continuous. So as you can see here, class, this is the x-axis. Yan. Pag sinabi ng continuous, class, the curve continues toward or away from the mean. But it never touches the x-axis. Hindi niya natatouch si x-axis. Kaya siya nagiging continuous. Kung if I will going to redraw this, okay, like this. Hirap mag-drawing class ng normal. Yan. Okay. So, makikita nyo, class, it continues. Tuloy-tuloy siya infinitely towards the mean. Okay, next. The total area under the curve is equal to 1 or 100. Meaning, from here, kung in terms of tot area, at from here, lahat kailangan yan equal to 100% or 1. Diba sa discrete probability distribution, kailangan ng probability of event of an outcome, pag pinag-add mo silang lahat, they are equal to 1 or 100%. So, yun yung properties na they are the same. But here in normal distribution, we talk about the area. Okay po. If we are asked, what is the probability of a certain random variable? We are talking about the area sa normal distribution. Unlike kapag discrete, chances. Okay? Chances din naman siya in somehow dito, class, sa normal distribution. Yes, it is a chances sa normal distribution. Kaya lang area ang tinitingnan natin kasi nakabase tayo sa distribution or dun sa ating drawing. Okay? The normal curve approaches or asymptotic, nasabi ko na yan, but never touches the x-axis as it extends further and further away from the mean. The last one is the area under the part of a normal curve that lies within one standard deviation of the mean is 68%. Kapag 2 standard deviation naman, 95%. Kapag 3 standard deviation, 99.7%. Ano ang ibig sabihin po niyan? Kapag ang standard deviation daw natin ay equal to 1, we can get easily the area. Ano kaya anong sukat ng area natin? We can identify it easily. Kasi meron tayong sinusundan na rule. We have the 68, 95, and 99.97 rule. Okay? Paano? For example, hindi nyo nakikita tong mga to. Paano nyo kaya yan malalaman? By just looking on this distribution without this also. Without this. Basta alam lang natin na our mu is here on the center and our standard deviation is 1. Okay? So, based on this rule, ito yung pattern na susundan natin. Okay? Dahil nag-start yan sa 68. So, meaning, magsa-start tayo sa 68. 68.27% divided by 2. The answer should be 34.13%. Pag in-input nyo sa calcul nyo, to recheck, it should be 34.13%. Pag in-input nyo in class, do not indicate the percent sign sa end na lang ng answer. Okay po. So, meaning, this side, this pink shaded, this area is equal to 34.13%. Okay? Next. Paano natin makukuha si 13.59%. 39.59%. We are going to subtract 95.45% to 68.27% and divided by 2. Dapat na makukuha natin dyan is 13.59%. Okay? Bakit lagi natin silang dinidivide sa 2? Kasi symmetrical. 2 sides. Kailangan kung anong area neto, yun din yung area neto. Okay? At the same time, kasi nga, ang ating standard deviation ay 1. 1 lang yung distance niya from the mean. Okay? Next, paano natin makukuha si 2.14%? Para makuha natin siya, we have to subtract the 99.73% kay 95.45% and divide them by 2. You will get 2.14%. And this is the area. Ayun yung 2.14%. At para naman makuha natin si 0.13%, according to the properties, alam natin na from here to here, alam natin that the sum should be 100% or 1. Okay? So, para makuha natin si 0.13, we have to subtract 99.73% to 100. Then divide them to 2. And you will get 0.13%. Okay? Another idea. Okay? Alam natin 100% yung sum ng lahat ng area ng normal distribution na to. Ibig sabihin, from here, and from here, this is 50%. From here to here, this is 50%. 50%. Okay, dami ng percent, no? Okay po. Magagawa lang natin itong 69, 95, 99.97 rule kapag ang given natin or ang standard deviation natin is 1. Okay, next. Means and standard deviation. For example, given these curves, curve A and curve B, which curve has a greater mean? Okay. Alam natin na si mean ay always at the center of our distribution. So, in curve A, at the center of the distribution is 5. In B, we have 9. So, meaning, the greater mean is on curve B. Next, which curve has a greater standard deviation? Pag sinabi nating standard deviation, this is how our data being spread out from the mean. Gaano siya ka-spread or kalayo sa mean. Kung makikita nyo sa curve A, patayo, paumbok siya. So, ibig sabihin, habang patayo yan, class, malapit siya kay mean. Pag si curve B naman, palapad siya. So, palayo siya sa mean. Okay, so meaning, the greater standard deviation is letter B or curve B rather. Okay, so ayan. So, tingnan nyo yung distance or yung, kahit yung ano lang yung pagka-spread out pa lang Pag tingin nyo pa lang sa image, makikita nyo na kagad kung saan yung data na naka-spread out Okay? Next, we're going to find the area under the normal curve. The first thing that we're going to do is we have to identify kung saan tayo nag-shade. Kasi kung ano yung sinashade natin, that is the area that we are looking for. Okay? Sabi dyan, find the area of the probability of X. This is the random variable. It could be anything. Okay po. So, we're going to get the probability of a random variable less than X sub 1. If this is our X sub 1, less than, meaning mas mababa sa kanya. So, ito yung shaded part na kailangan natin. Or ito yung area na kinukuha natin or hinahanap natin. O look at on the right side of the presentation. Ang kinukuha naman natin, X should be greater than X sub 2. Okay? If this is our X sub 2, greater than kay X sub 2, mas mataas kay X sub 2. So, meaning ito. Ito yung kinukuha natin na area. Okay? Next. Si X daw should be less than 0. This is our 0. Should be greater than X sub 1. Mas mataas kay X sub 1, pero mas mababa naman kay 0. So, meaning, nandito lang sila. Okay, next. Find x, or yung find the probability of a random variable less than x sub 2. This is our x sub 2. Our x sub 1 is here. Sabi dyan, less than kay x sub 2 but greater than kay x sub 1. Okay? So, nandito ang shade natin. Okay? Ito yung area na hinahanap natin. Ito rin yung area na hinahanap natin. Okay? Next. What if our x should be less than x sub 1? So, from less than, so mas mababa kay x sub 1. So, this is the shaded part or the area that we need or that we are looking for. Next, si x daw or yung random variable should be greater than x sub 2. So, mas mataas siya kay x sub 2. So, this is the area that we are looking for. Okay po? Paano natin makukuha yung area neto, class? Alam natin, for example lang ha, dagdag idea lang. Alam natin na from here and here, the measure is 50 or the area is 50%. Same as this side. Okay? If the problem, given to, yung measure neto, you have to subtract it to 50% or 0.50 para makuha mo tong value na to. Nakukuha? Next. Sabi dyan, determine the area under the standard normal distribution curve between x is equal to 0 and 125. So, this is the x which is equal to 100. At sabi dyan, between daw ni 100 at ni 125. And we all know that the center of 100 and 150 is 125. So, let's say that's the 125. Okay? Sabi, between. So, between ni 100 at 125. So, meaning, ito yung area na kinukuha natin. Kuha. Next. 0 naman. 0 and sabi dyan, si Z daw is negative 1.5. Alam natin na si 0.5 ay malapit, 0.15 ay malapit lang kay negative 1. So, here. Let's say that is the negative 1.15. Okay. Sabi dyan, between ni 0 at ni negative 1.15. So, ito yung area na hinahanap natin. Okay, next. Find the area under the standard normal distribution curve to the right. Z is equal to 1.15. Alam natin na si 0.15 ay malapit lang kay yung 1. Let's assume ito siya. So, 1.15. At ang condition is curve to the right. Distribution curve to the right. Kung to the right, ng negative, ng 1.15 rather, so dito siya. Okay, next. Find the area under the standard normal distribution curve to the left, at the right, at the left, where Z is equal to negative 1.85. And 0.85 is malapit na siya kay negative 2. So, negative 1.85 to the left. So, ito yung kinukuha niyang surface area. So, siya rin. Ayan yung kinukuha niyang surface area. Okay, so you have to master first where are you going to draw or get the shaded part sa normal distribution kasi doon natin malalaman kung anong area yung hinahanap natin at anong part ng distribution yan. Okay po? So that is the end of the introduction. Okay po? Susunod is part 2 of the discussion. Okay. So, thank you very much for your listening. So, I hope you learned something from me today. Thank you.